This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. It's a freaking Tuesday and I'm freaking cold. It's cold. It is, the temperature is barely legal where I'm at. And I'm not used to this shit. I'm from the South. What the fuck? For those of you who aren't aware, maybe you live in one of the ends of the burrito. We are having an Arctic event right now. I'm not sure if there is any meteorologist calling it a 7-Eleven microwave burrito, but that's exactly what it looks like. It's cold right down the fucking middle. We aren't used to this shit around here. What? I told one of my clients that's up north, he lives in Wisconsin, I said, would you come down here and get your weather? I think it's drunk. I taped my door. And the cat totally did not want to go outside because it could feel the cold air coming off the door. I tape up the door and it was like night and day. And the cat all of a sudden is like, hey, I want to go outside. I'm like, you can't go outside now. I taped up the door. Anyway. You know what's to blame for the power outages associated? Ooh. No, sir, I don't like it. I've got my scarf on. And I do not want to see what my electric bill looks like next month. Holy shit. But at least I'm one of the lucky people that has electricity. I've got another picture from Texas. This is Houston last night. So, outside of the city is blacked out. Looking at the neon glow of empty office buildings. Ladies and gentlemen, you really are living through a late-stage capitalist hellscape. I like the way respectable lawyer put it. Our cold evening sky is haunted by the obscene radiant glow of empty corporate-owned skyscrapers, while 5 million Texans freeze in the dark. Do you know what? You know what Tucker Carlson blames for the blackout? Green energy. Oh shit. Oh shit. I don't have any sound. Hold on. This is from Tucker Carlson. Last night.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson.
Oh, hold on. You guys can't see. What kind of amateur hour am I running over here, right? Old Tuggy boy.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight, happy Monday. Well, the Green New Deal has come, believe it or not, to the state of Texas. And we're here with the report. How's it working out so far? Well, the good news is all that alternative energy seems to have had a remarkable effect on the climate, as intended. Last night, parts of Texas got to temperatures that we see in Alaska. In fact, they were the same as they were in Alaska.
I only cranked it up a degree from where I normally keep it. Because I'm like, you can't put that much load. And that's just because I'm sitting here right now.
The windmills froze, so the power grid failed. Millions of Texans woke up this
But he's talking about the windmills failing. Now, there are windmills, and this is the reason why I tried to rip the video, because it's
purified.
going to go away on me.
Well, the good news is all that alternative energy seems to
But it's because
effect on the climate as intended. Last night,
it's Texas. They didn't think to, put de-icer in the windmills.
In fact, they were the same as they were in Alaska. So global warming is no longer a pressing concern in Houston. We've solved that.
What?
The bad news is they don't have electricity. The windmills froze, so the power grid failed. Millions of Texans woke up to boil their water because with no electricity, it couldn't be purified. The ironically named Electric Reliability Council of Texas, which oversees the grid, had no solution to any of this. They simply told people to stop using so much power to keep warm. So in Houston, hundreds of
rolling blackouts were their solution.
To keep from freezing to death. Some people in Texas...
Or that it wasn't rolling blackouts, though.
That's what happens when it gets that cold. Later this week, we'll learn just how many more as they tried to keep warm with jury-rigged heaters and barbecues and...
I don't know what's... I'm on Fox.com. I don't know what's going on.
Even advanced societies become primitive and dangerous.
Even Fox doesn't want me to watch Tucker Carlson, and you shouldn't watch Tucker Carlson either.
Rolling blackouts in a purportedly first world state that is slipping steadily into chaos. But in Texas? Who saw that coming? And not just because Texas is mostly Republican. If there's one thing you would think Texas would be able to do, it's keep the lights on. Most electricity comes from natural gas, and Texas produces more of that than any place on the continent. They're huge natural gas deposits.
Well, at least he's acknowledging that.
Texas is an oil and gas state, famous.
Yeah, yes.
Running out of energy in Texas is like starving to death at the grocery store. You can only do it on purpose. And Texas did.
Wait.
Rather than celebrate and benefit...
What is he trying to...
...vast natural resources, politicians took the fashionable route and became recklessly reliant on so-called alternative energy, meaning windmills. 15 years ago, there were virtually no wind farms in Texas. Last year, roughly a quarter...
So the Republicans became overly reliant on wind energy because they're libtard? What's it? What?
About destroying the landscape and degrading the power grid. Just last week, Governor Greg Abbott proudly accepted something called the Wind Leadership Award, given with gratitude by a company getting rich from green energy. So it was all working great until the day it got cold out.
So it's green energy is getting rich, but like
they are, and people in Texas died.
The oil industry is not getting rich.
On January 6th, by the way, just for reference. Now we're telling you all of this not to beat up on the state of Texas. It's a great state, actually, but to give you some sense about what's about to happen to you, to every state.
I'm not exactly sure what his point
Here's
is.
The new president explaining his plan.
In my view, we've already waited too long to deal with this climate crisis. We can't wait.
Also, Tucker is wrong. You should already know that I've got evidence refuting what he says.
To confront the existential threat of climate change. It is an existential threat.
We're going to give him his platform, though, because we wouldn't want to censor a conservative.
Existential threat, ambitious plan. You hear those phrases a lot, and you'll notice that they are.
He just wants to throw a lot of scary words out there with those piercing blue eyes.
Higher energy prices
and that furrowed brow.
Already up, in case you haven't noticed. Electricity will follow. Higher costs hurt the weakest. Inflation always does, but it's worse than that. Green energy inevitably means blackout.
Biden has already destroyed the economy. Pack it up and go home.
Right now, in the current state of technology, that is true. Green energy means a less reliable power grid, period. It means failures like the ones we're seeing now in Texas.
Like everybody in my chat already is aware that there are
that is true.
Windmills in the Antarctic that function just fine.
Spewing carbon in his private jet to lecture the rest of us about a topic he personally knows nothing about. Private sector jobs and how more...
That's true, but I mean, the number of oil jobs is shrinking anyway.
The President of the United States has expressed in every comment...
That's exactly right.
The need to grow the new jobs that pay better, that are cleaner, that, I mean, you know, you look at the...
Well, thank God.
Black lung for a miner, for instance, and measure...
I honest to God, had to explain to somebody the other day the difference in... like the opinion blocks on Fox News and MSNBC, like I was like, they all do it. They're news during the day, and then they switch to opinion shows, like at 5 o'clock.
So Hear us, please.
They didn't know that there was like a delineation
John Kerry
there.
has a plan for you. Settle down. John Kerry's here. Now, the old plan, you'll remember.
They had like opinion shows for their morning shows in the morning drive
all the guys
time.
in pickup trucks were going to run the internet after we sent their jobs to China. That was the plan. Learn to code. Guys in T-shirts. In the end, of course, we just imported people from China to code. So that didn't actually happen. But John Kerry has another.
Yo.
High school educated rural people are going to be wind turbine technicians. So what they used to do with transmissions, whatever it is that was, they're going to
maybe
put bearings in them or lube them or something. So
rich man baby that's the heir to a frozen food fortune. Is that who you were referring to?
Turbine possible. He definitely doesn't live near one. They don't have wind farms in Aspen or Martha's Vineyard, and they're not getting them. John Kerry himself once fought to keep
Tucker will make sure of that because that's where he lives.
House on Nantucket. Well, that's hypocritical, you might say. Yeah, obviously, but it's not surprising.
Tucker probably has a house down the street from John Kerry.
As a rule, live very far from wind farms. People who live near wind farms
I think he lives in
have a
Connecticut,
totally
actually.
different view. And why wouldn't they? How'd you like a massive power plant in your backyard, humming and buzzing and chopping up birds? That's what a wind turbine is. If you're ever in rural America, go see one for yourself.
That's a weird argument to make. How would you like a Keystone pipeline running through your backyard, Tucker?
The environment? Wind farms are one of those ideas you can only support if you don't know too much about them.
Oh, really?
That's why there's never been mass popular support for them. No large group of citizens has ever demanded that some Goldman Sachs-backed company destroy the natural environment with Chinese-made windmills that don't work when it's cold out. Wait, more expensive and much less reliable? Ugly, inefficient, and made by people who hate us, and we can kill endangered species?
Made by people who hate us? What is he talking about?
No one anywhere has ever said that. But it doesn't matter.
But yet he wants to use oil that comes from Saudi Arabia. This motherfucker has gone completely unhinged.
Regulated prices. Everyone else gets a moral lecture about climate change. And anyone who complains about any of it gets called a Nazi by Cory Booker. Watch.
What?
There's a lot of people now that are blowing back on the Green New Deal. They're like, oh, it's impractical. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's all of this. If we used to govern our dreams that way, we would have never gone to the moon. And when the planet has been in peril in the past, who came forward to save Earth from the scourge of Nazi and totalitarian regimes? We came forward.
Oh, it's impractical, mocks a guy who's literally never had a job. Except your windmills, bigots. You hear that a lot. You're about to hear it a whole lot more. The problem is the demagogues like Cory
Has Tucker ever done anything besides host a show?
What a wind farm is. They don't know how to run a power grid or anything else for that matter. They talk, they brag, but they don't build anything, much less fix or maintain it.
Is Tucker implying he knows how to run a power grid? I'm so baffled by all of this.
Take a look at what they have done to our cities. Not a single major American city is prettier or more functional than it was in 1950.
It's a Tucker exclusive.
The parks that previous generations so lovingly built are filled with vagrants and junkies. The monuments they constructed are covered with spray paint. Public transportation is a disgrace. It's filthy. The streets are dangerous. Are you really surprised that Cory Booker was once the mayor of New York?
Does Tucker know anything about public transportation?
Much less understand your wind farm. None of these people can. It's bad enough that they can...
The only thing I know Tucker from was like he wore a bow tie on MSNBC. Or maybe he was on CNN first. Maybe it was Crossfire. And then he went over to MSNBC. After that show got canned. He was on CNN on like Crossfire when that was still a thing, and then he went to MSNBC. He was like Rachel Maddow's foe for the like end of the Bush years, beginning of the Obama years. Maybe it might have been entirely the Obama years. Rachel Maddow might not have been on MSNBC just yet. By the way, I have no concept of time whatsoever. Everything was everything was the other day to me. No clue. I'll tell my friends like that was the other day. No, it was like 7 years ago. Oh, okay. My bad. I'm a stoner, though. So, the real reason that the Texas blackouts are occurring it doesn't actually have anything to do with windmills. This is Gizmodo. More than 4 million people are still without power in Texas on Tuesday morning after a serious winter storm jacked up energy prices across the U.S. and froze key infrastructure in the state, like clockwork. Reports of frozen wind turbines in Texas have given conservatives a new scapegoat in their unending battle to smear renewable energy. The real story is much more complicated than that. I still don't think... Fuck yeah, I'm not high enough for this. I'm glad you brought that up. Oh, I can't ever imagine that Tucker would have some sexist quotes. Doesn't surprise me at all. About half of Texas heats their homes with natural gas. About half do it with electricity, and about half our power plants also consume natural gas to make the electricity. According to Joshua Rhodes, a research associate at the University of Texas. Part of the state's power outages comes down to the fact that its infrastructure was designed to withstand extreme heat, not cold. Rhodes explained that while the grid is prepared for power surges during the summer, when people crank up their AC units, winters in Texas are usually so mild that power plants take time off for routine maintenance. Power plants in Texas are also not winterized for this kind of weather. But the idea of frozen wind turbines is a catchy one, and predictably, fossil fuel fans have latched on to these blackouts as proof positive that we simply can't trust wind. Of course, Rep. Lauren Boebert on Tuesday tweeted, "You know how you unfreeze frozen windmills? By sending up a helicopter that shoots out chemicals onto the blades. You need fuel for the helicopters. Keep that in mind when you're thinking how green windmills are. Never mind that this isn't actually how modern turbines, which have built-in de-icing systems, work. But it wasn't just QAnon elected politicians rushing to place blame. Even the Wall Street Journal editorial page. The Biden administration's plan to banish fossil fuels is a greater existential threat to Americans than climate change. Wow! Conveniently, both these viewpoints ignore the fact that wind turbines aren't exactly alone in failing in the cold. Apparently, it's freezes in chemicals that they use with the natural gas, which 50% of the energy in Texas is natural gas. It's true that Texas has the most installed wind capacity of any state in the country. Wind can supply up to 60% of power in the state. ERCOT only plans for around 25% of electricity to be from wind in the winter. Natural gas, on the other hand, makes up around half of the state's electricity generation. I also saw graphs that indicated wind production of electricity was actually up. It's been up in the last few days. Probably to account for the frozen pipes used in natural gas. The other big story today, House Democrat sues Trump, Giuliani, and two far-right groups over the Capitol riot. Democratic Representative Benny Thompson is suing former President Trump, the Proud Boys, and the Oath Keepers. The lawsuit filed on Thompson's behalf by the NAACP accuses Trump and the other defendants of violating the 1871 Ku Klux Klan Act by trying to interfere in Congress's certification of the Electoral College vote count. The legislation was part of a series of enforcement acts at the time intended to protect the enfranchisement of black citizens from violence and intimidation. That makes a lot of sense. Scrappy, you make a good point about hydroelectric power on the Gulf. I wonder about that myself. The suit is the first against Trump since the Senate acquitted him on Saturday. After the vote, the Senate's top Republican Mitch McConnell delivered a scathing speech, which has sent ripple effects throughout the Republican Party, including one representative getting a handwritten letter from his family. Representative Adam Kinzinger, a six-term Republican congressman representing Illinois, received a handwritten letter from 11 family members disowning him over his opposition to former President Donald Trump. Oh my, what a disappointment you are to us and to God. We were once so proud of your accomplishments. Instead, you go against your Christian principles and you join the devil's army. Democrats and the fake news media. Tell me these people aren't in a cult. The letter was dated January 8th, 2 days after rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, forcing lawmakers into hiding and temporarily delaying Congress's certification. Kinzinger called for the 25th Amendment to be used to remove Trump from office before Inauguration's Day. Devil's Army does sound pretty cool. Still drag on. The two-page letter goes on to defend Trump as a man of Christian faith and criticizes Kinzinger for attacking the former president, reportedly saying, "You won't convince us otherwise with your horrible, rude accusations of President Trump. To embrace a party that believes in abortion and socialism is the ultimate sin. It is now most embarrassing to us that we are related to you. You have embarrassed the Kinzinger family name. We are thoroughly disgusted with you. And oh, by the way, we are calling for your removal from office. President Trump has done more for the American people in 4 years than you, the rhinos and the Democrats, have done in years." Goddamn. Hopefully, this is part of a pattern with the Republican Party splitting up. But mark my words, should the Republican Party split, Trump is keeping the Republican brand. If there's another party that forms, it will be the Lincoln Party, which we'll get to in a second. Lincoln Party's got all kinds of interesting shit going on that we're going to talk about. Ultimately, the news has been a little quiet, so we're going to do a deep dive into a couple of things, including some wrestling-related stories at the end of the show. But the DNC has released this video, a little compilation of people leaving the Republican
I'm
Party.
going to call myself a fellow Republican. They should have known better.
I'm a
Cancel culture.
I don't lick anyone's boots, and
That's exactly what it is. They're trying to get him canceled because they didn't like what he said.
I'm out.
His own family.
Wisconsin. Waukesha's Mayor Sean Riley posted on Facebook, quote, "I am ashamed that I was a member of the Republican Party, and I don't know how I can ever be a member again."
In Pennsylvania alone, about 4,100 Republicans have switched their voter.
This is a Lincoln Project style video.
When you're losing Republican members and you're left with QAnon and
We do have indication that there has been several people change their
a
affiliation.
viable party.
A few thousand in each state,
This
it
is
seems.
our historic moment of crisis and challenge. And unity is the path forward.
But was this the Lincoln Project that did this? It said the DNC released this. Okay. I was about to fucking say. And you have reason to be worried if you are on the right. FBI informant panic is ruining friendships all over the far right. In the Trumpist America First movement, the far-right paramilitary group, the Proud Boys, alliances are fracturing as extremists brand each other as potential informants. I assume this is coming after the news of Enrique Tarrio coming out as an FBI informant. There's also a couple of others that have admitted to being informants that were arrested in the Capitol riots. Yeah, fuck that strong Republican Party, that fucking Nancy Pelosi. I saw somebody on Twitter said, that's like her saying we need a strong Nazi party. Yeah, that's exactly what she's saying. Fuck Nancy Pelosi. She needs to be primaried. Get her the fuck out of there. DNC and the Lincoln Project are indeed both conservative organizations. We're going to talk about the Lincoln Project here in just a little bit. Now, racist live streamers are accusing their former comrades of attempting to turn over followers to law enforcement, while Proud Boys chapters are splintering from the national organization over similar fears. Until the FBI started closing in, white nationalist Nick Fuentes, Patrick Casey were two of the most prominent figures in the racist America First movement. The pair built up shared audiences on live streaming platforms and cheered their fans. Nicknamed Groypers? This one's a new one to me. Groypers? Am I saying it right? What a fucking... That's a faggoty ass name. Am I saying it right though? Groypers? Yeah, that's like I had never heard of it. That's stupid. I wish I could tell Nick Fuentes he's stupid. But hopefully he's going to be doing some hard time, Daddy. On Thursday, Casey distanced himself from Fuentes and America First in a live stream video. Some people who were at the Capitol are going to flip, Casey said in the video. Good! So, one of the things that many of us have been wondering, I'm sure, is what exactly has been going through Trump's mind through all this. Well, today, we got our first press release from Trump. Holy shit. Trump certainly didn't write all this. I assume it was dictated. Well, let's give it a read. I'm not going to do the Trump voice. The Republican Party can never again be respected or strong with political leaders like Senator Mitch McConnell at its helm. Trump did not write this. McConnell's dedication to business as usual, status quo policies, together with his lack of political insight, wisdom, skill, and personality, has rapidly driven him from majority leader to minority leader, and it will only get worse. Yeah, I'm sure that had nothing to do with you. The Democrats and Chuck Schumer play McConnell like a fiddle. I wish! They've never had it so good, and they want to keep it that way. We know our America First agenda is a winner, not McConnell's Beltway First agenda or Biden's America Last. Now that sounds like Trump. They've tidied it up a little bit, though. In 2020, I received the most votes of any sitting president in history, almost 75 million. Every incumbent House Republican won for the first time in decades, and we flipped 15 seats, almost costing Nancy Pelosi her job. Republicans won majorities in at least 59 of the 98 partisan legislative chambers, and the Democrats failed to flip a single legislative chamber from red to blue. And in Mitch's Senate, over the last 2 election cycles, I single-handedly saved at least 12 Senate seats, more than 8 in the 2020 cycle alone. And then came the Georgia disaster, where we should have won both U.S. Senate seats, but McConnell matched the Democratic offer of $2,000 stimulus checks with $600. How does that work? It became the Democrats' principal advertisement, and a big winner for them it was. McConnell then put himself, one of the most unpopular politicians in the United States, into the advertisements. Many Republicans in Georgia voted Democrat or just didn't vote because their anguish at their inept governor, Brian Kemp, Secretary of State Raffensperger, and the Republican Party for not doing its job on election integrity during the 2020 presidential race. It was a complete election disaster in Georgia and certain other swing states. McConnell did nothing and will never do what needs to be done in order to secure a fair and just electoral system into the future. He doesn't have what it takes, never did, and never will. Isn't Mitch McConnell one of the longest serving senators? He's bound to be getting up there, but he doesn't have what it takes, says the one-term president. The fucking loser couldn't even win the popular vote, and it was a total fluke that he was elected the first time. My only regret is that McConnell begged for my strong support and endorsement before the great people of Kentucky in the 2020 election, and I gave it to him. He went from 1 point down to 20 points up and won. I don't remember him ever being 1 point down, maybe against like a generic Democrat. How quickly he forgets. Without my endorsement, McConnell would have lost, and lost badly. Now his numbers are lower than ever before. He is destroying the Republican side of the Senate, and in doing so, seriously hurting our country. Man, I really wish that Mitch McConnell was up for re-election sooner. But he just won re-election. He will probably die before he is up for election again in 6 more years. Likewise, McConnell has no credibility on China because of his family's substantial Chinese business holdings. Oh my God. That's what I've been saying. He does nothing on this tremendous economic and military threat. Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack. Holy shit. And if Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again. Fingers crossed on that one. He will never do what needs to be done or what is right for the country. Where necessary and appropriate, I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again and our policy of America first. We want brilliant, strong, thoughtful, and compassionate leadership. Only the best people. Prior to the pandemic, we produced the greatest economy and jobs numbers in the history of our country. And likewise, our economic recovery after COVID was the best in the world. We cut taxes and regulations, rebuilt our military, took care of our vets, became energy independent. That energy grid's really working out well, isn't it, Trump? And he released this today. Built the wall, no he didn't, and stopped the massive inflow of illegals into our country and so much more. And now illegals are pouring in, pipelines are being stopped, taxes will be going up, and we will no longer be energy independent. This is a big moment for our country, and we cannot let it pass by using third-rate leaders to dictate our future. I think that's why you lost the election, Mr. Third-Rate Leader. Surely he's going to die in office. I can't imagine he lives to run for re-election. But I also don't think that if he lives, that he won't run for re-election. But, like, the Republicans have the knives out for him. Here's Matt Gaetz.
The Lincoln Project. Let's bring in Republican Congressman from Florida, Matt Gaetz. He's a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
What's your reaction to the apparent implosion of the Lincoln Project?
The Lincoln Project is the past, but there are new incarnations in the Republican Party of those who are trying to purge Trumpism from our movement. And frankly, the most dangerous was Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who took to the floor and essentially gave the Biden Justice Department
new incarnations. Mitch McConnell, who's been in the Senate, 40 something years? 46, 47, something to that effect. Holy shit.
Cover to prosecute the president, his son, even his
might be 30
supporters
something
engaged in any violent conduct on January 6th. So I doubt we'll be talking about the Lincoln Project specifically going forward, but there will always be this bastion of the establishment. And really that's what the Lincoln Project was. They were a front group for establishment money to attack the president and the people who supported the president, and that energy and that motivation will continue. I see my colleague, Representative Adam Kinzinger, has set up a group to essentially do the same thing. And so it's important.
Yeah, it's Joe. You had me
agenda,
get me confused there for a second.
And see that it has a role in our government going forward.
That's right.
To another.
They really are splitting apart. Fucking Matt Gaetz, you heard him mentioning the Lincoln Project. And that's what I really want to talk about here. This is one of the latest ads put out by the Lincoln Project. I didn't even know what it was when I first saw it. I like the way you think, Scrappy. It's a good idea. We really should start running for office as Republicans. But like this ad, they just released this a few days ago. This was the Lincoln Project released on February 9th. It's one of the last, they do some podcasts. This is one of the last like videos they produced. But they're putting out this ad about your brand isn't just you. It's like who you associate with. Your brand is who you support.
Capitol is now the site of a homicide investigation.
They definitely are effective propagandists. I will give them that. I am glad that we on the left never fell for their bullshit. See, look, the donation at the end. Like the MSNBC liberal crowd fell for their bullshit. Us on the left didn't fall for it. Like, we would play their videos and be like, oh, that's a good video. The Lincoln Project is shit. They suck. Every time I played one of their videos, and I always told people to go watch the Tuning Out the News of the Showtime segment about the Lincoln Project. We've known the whole time. They're shit. Lincoln Project co-founder Reed Galen ran little-known dark money group as Super PAC's dealings face scrutiny. As co-founders of the Lincoln Project were making millions off of the Super PAC they ran, one of them, Reed Galen, quietly launched a little-known dark money organization that may have enriched him and his allies even further. So it was a grift inside a grift. Their whole grift that they were doing that was working wasn't enough for him. Documents show that Galen's Lincoln Project and Project Yellowstone were directly linked. Although this partnership is not illegal, the arrangement could have allowed behind-the-scenes payments to firms with ties to the Super PAC's leadership or other vendors that often did work with the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project has already come under scrutiny for paying vendors with ties to the committee's leadership. Still, since there are very few IRS documents available on Project Yellowstone, that nonprofit can go on for at least the next year without publicly producing information on how much it has raised its donors and which vendors it paid. Holy shit. But that is not the only founder of the Lincoln Project that's in some deep shit. Young men accuse Lincoln Project co-founder of harassment. The Lincoln Project, in a statement on Sunday, called co-founder John Weaver, 61, a predator, a liar, and an abuser. I think that would describe the whole group, wouldn't you say? This following reports that he repeatedly sent unsolicited and sexually charged messages online to young men, often while suggesting that he could help them get work in politics. The totality of his deceptions are beyond anything any of us could have imagined, and we are absolutely shocked and sickened by it. That was according, I guess it was a statement from all of them. I was waiting to see which of them actually released it. Steve Schmidt resigned over the weekend. Apparently, Rick Wilson has also resigned. The statement by Weaver came after several men had taken to social media to accuse him of sending sexually suggestive messages, sometimes coupled with offers of employment or political advancement. One of the alleged victims told the Times he started receiving messages from Weaver when he was only 14. The messages became more pointed after he turned 18. Well, I mean, at least he had the dignity to just groom him and not be an actual child predator. Holy shit. George Conway, who I believe is also one of the founders of the Lincoln Project. How many fucking founders can your stupid project have? George Conway, who co-founded the Lincoln Project, is calling for an investigation into the anti-Trump group. Conway says it has to be thorough and not a whitewash. The lying has to stop. Well, I wouldn't imagine that people associated with the Bush administration and the Republican Party that gave birth to Donald Trump would have a problem with lying. Enough is enough. The Lincoln Project needs to waive the NDAs and come clean. According to this Amanda Becker, some Lincoln Project founders knew about sexual harassment allegations as early as March. Well, George, did you know? Lincoln Project founder, not the only one who had salacious details about their personal life come out. Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually a philanderer, a swinger. I don't know the details yet. I've been saving the story. Greene had affairs with tantric sex guru Craig Ivey and fitness gym manager Justin Tway. The embattled Georgia Congresswoman, 46, has been married to husband Barry Greene since 1995 and shares 3 kids with him. Neither man denied the affairs when approached by Daily Mail, but both refused to comment on their past relationships. Taylor Greene had met the two lovers while working at a gym in Alpharetta, Georgia in 2012. Insiders say she was so brazen about her affairs, they believed her marriage was on the rocks. But it appears the couple has put the infidelity behind them. Congress voted last week to remove Taylor Greene from her committee assignments. Whose ass should I be eating? I enjoy some ass. So this is Greene and her husband. I'm totally not. I'm a fucking polyamorous, fucking pansexual swinger, whatever you want to call it. I'm not shaming her. She's part of the Republican Party. The party that shames other people. I am not shaming her for the sex. I'm actually, I like her better now, knowing about the sex. Oh, you think he was watching? They kind of framed it as she was cheating. I could see him watching and jagging off in the corner, being a total cock about it. But have you seen the guys at the gym that she was fucking? Thank you for subbing. Impeach that freak. Enjoy your troll emotes. I mean, like, this guy's got a nice package. This is the best picture. And he shaved it. He shaved it into that shape. Nobody naturally has chest hair that looks like that. And is it in an arrow? Because I thought about shaving my chest hair into an arrow one time. Oh my God. You gotta help. You gotta help me get bigger on the Twitch. I only got 3 slots for emotes. Get me bigger on the Twitch. I can get you some more emotes. Well, they accused Harris of sleeping her way to the top. I saw a good meme about that earlier today. Like, what does that say about the men who are that easily manipulated that you can sleep your way to the top? Maybe they didn't deserve to be there in the first place. His beard is quite nicely shapen. He's got a mohawk. Now this guy. Wait, it says made you look. Black Lives Matter. He's got a Tyson Nye shirt on. Holy shit! Bare ass! Well, so when you worked for me at CrossFit Alpharetta in 2012, the extramarital affairs you had with Justin and Craig, those were Jesus approved, right? Exactly. I wouldn't want to dox them. I wouldn't want to document their infidelities. Unless they're fucking hypocrites. Had a tan scuba on. So the hits just keep coming. But now, this is an incredibly interesting story. Who in the chat knows who Sweet Stan Lane is? I got a picture. Here you go. This is Sweet Stan Lane. Wrestler prominent throughout the 80s. And how does Sweet Stan Lane relate to politics, you might ask? Well, do you know a congresswoman by the name of Lauren Boebert? Apparently, Lauren Boebert's mother has been telling people that Lauren Boebert's father is Sweet Stan Lane for years. The current 3rd Congressional District of Colorado Congresswoman has been in the news for her controversial views, having supported the far-right conspiracy QAnon and made waves when she attempted to bypass a metal detector in the hours following the January 6th riots. Now it seems she may have a small crossover into the world of professional wrestling, as for years her mother has alleged former NWA star and one half of legendary Midnight Express tag team is her estranged father. A user on Twitter unearthed comments on a YouTube video from several years ago highlighting Lane's former Fabulous Ones tag team with Steve Kern. A user named Shauna Bentz makes several comments on the video stating Lane is the father of the child named Lauren. Let's Oh, it's the comments on the video. Upvote if you're here because of Lauren Boebert. Wow. So there's some tea being spilled in the comments. Bent then alleges they are the maternal first cousin of Lane, who took a DNA test in 2013 that allegedly matches Lane to Boebert. So, crazy shit going on. Jim Cornette spoke on it and thinks it's preposterous, so I trust Jim Cornette. But I will update you should there be any new developments. And should we find out that Sweet Stan Lane is actually the father of crazy-ass Lauren Boebert. As I said, we got more wrestling here. I, for a while, had proclaimed that Chris Jericho was the greatest wrestler of all time. But this past year has been a wild one. And Chris just seems to keep doing things that tarnish his reputation. This is a story back in, what was it, September? They had it might be it's the end of August. They had the Sturgis Biker Rally. Chris Jericho and his band Fozzy, their concert linked to 250,000 COVID-19 cases. We estimate that over 250,000 of the reporting. I mean, that's not just the concert. To be fair, it's not just the concert, but Chris Jericho was part of the whole event. That over 250,000 of the reported cases between August 2nd and September 2nd are due to the Sturgis rally. Roughly 19% of the national cases during that time. Because this motherfucker went out and performed a maskless rally at a super spreader event. Now, he kept it on the down low because I'm assuming that he didn't want the fallout that he has gotten.
I'm one of those people, I've never heard of them before in my life. And
A couple of weeks ago, he revealed,
That's the idea. I'd never heard of them before either. You know, it's not one of those.
He got the COVID.
We never heard of him. That's the point of this whole thing. Was a good friend of mine is the drummer, but I had no idea that he was in a band called Siren, 30 odd years ago. And like I said, I've known him for years. We've worked together. We've done a lot of stuff together. And they said, yeah, I got this call from this festival. They want my band to play. And I was like, what band is that? And he's like, Siren. I said, what are you talking about? So he wanted to explain that this band that he had somehow had amassed a big fan base in Europe over the 30 years since they had played, and had invited them to a festival. And I thought, this is either going to be the biggest train wreck ever, or it's going to be a super heartwarming, feel good, follow your dreams tale. But either way, there's a movie here. So that's when I decided to send a camera crew.
And what was your reaction to the amount of people that were so excited to see them? Because you had your doubts.
Big time. I mean,
was this video mislabeled? Oh, it's a 12-minute fucking interview.
Listen, we all had bands in high school.
What's the story there in the beginning where they
a band called Siren? What an interesting story this would make for a documentary. Dreams come true, and I was working. Know why, but we know that somewhere in the universe they wanted Siren to took it a step further than most people ever do, to travel across the world to play it. Anvil was always going for it, and still always.
Fuck him. I'm tired of listening to him. I want to make fun of him. I'm sorry. I thought when I first looked at that clip, I thought it said a minute 24. The headline was about COVID diagnosis. He's too old for this shit. But it's come out recently, in the last few days, that Chris Jericho's wife was at the Capitol on January the 6th. Chris Jericho said that he's not political, despite the fact that he donated tens of thousands of dollars to Donald Trump's campaign. It turns out that it's his wife that is involved in politics. The subject has gone viral within the internet wrestling community. By the way, all the wrestlers over at All Elite Wrestling, and they're all batshit crazy Christians, Trump supporters, as the Young Bucks are fucking crazy like that. So, Jessica Lockhart Irvine. Pictures from the Capitol. Posting all kinds of crazy shit. She might be a QAnon. Trump is president. Christ is king. Holy fuck. And it's really sad to learn that about Jericho, who I've enjoyed for so many years. All right, this poor woman with the Gorilla Glue. I feel so sorry for her. I am so glad that she got herself a haircut and that she's actually making some bank, apparently. I wish her the best. I hope she makes a YouTube, does whatever she can to capitalize on her social media fame. I haven't seen the original video, so let's give it a watch here.
Hey y'all, for those of y'all that know me know, my hair has been like this for about a month now. It's not by choice. No, it's not by choice. when I do my hair, I like to, finish it off with the little Got to Be glue spray. Just to keep it in place. Well, I didn't have any more Got to Be glue spray, so I used this. Gorilla Glue spray.
I didn't even know it came in spray.
Bad idea. Yo, look.
Oh, I want to hug her.
It don't move. You hear what I'm telling you? It don't move. I've washed my hair 15 times.
It looks good, though.
It don't move. Stiff wear. Woo. My hair. So I'm going to tell y'all like this. If you ever run out of Got to Be glue spray, don't ever use this.
Won't budge. Yeah, I didn't even know it came in spray. I've used Gorilla Glue before.
What?
That shit's fantastic.
Look, y'all, look.
Girl, at least your hair looked good. I'm glad you
this is the life
got it taken care of.
Like, this is the life that I guess I'm gonna have to live. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny, but
look.
I'm kind of tearing up right now. Like, listen to her. So, do we have other pictures? Yeah, girl, that looking good. Tessica was her name. I hope that the scalp wasn't damaged. Tessica Brown. Now that Tessica Brown's hair is finally 100% Gorilla Glue free, she can go back to basics and enjoy a normal do again. She visited the barbershop on Valentine's Day morning to get her hair trimmed and styled after the procedure last week to remove the glue from her hair and scalp. Ooh. I would click on the pictures of her getting it removed. I can't do it. I have a weak stomach for that kind of stuff. Like, I can watch horror movies, people get their head chopped off all day long. Like, any kind of medical procedure gives me the willies. Tessica's received an outpouring of support ever since she revealed on TikTok that she'd made a terrible choice a month ago to substitute her normal hairspray. Though the advice she received to rid her hair of the hardened glue didn't work, Beverly Hills plastic surgeon Dr. Michael Obing came through for Tessica by performing a $12,000 procedure for free to get her out of the sticky situation. Awesome. Fucking badass. Thank you, Dr. Obing. Cool on you. Tessica also received more than $20,000 in donation for her plight, which she plans on the majority of it to the Restore Foundation, which provides reconstructive surgery services for people around the world. Good on her. Yeah, I can't imagine that procedure was fun. Our sources say Tessica received hundreds of hair products for free as well, including more Got to Be glued. I've used that Got to Be stuff. It is pretty good. She still needs to leave her hair alone for 6 weeks following her surgery before she can wear a wig. And we're told her her Valentine's Day haircut replaced her plans to sip and paint with her sister. That's been postponed until next week. I hope she streams it. I hope she gets some fucking paper for it. Girl, I'm rooting for you. I want to be in a place where we can like laugh at shit like that, but fucking the world is so harsh. And honestly, like, what would have happened to her had there not been social media to band together and help her out like that? Didn't she say it had been there for a month and it hadn't grown out?
Would like to know.
I can imagine that shit, like gets in your pores and stuff, doesn't it? All right, Media Winch, I'm glad you're in here. You and I both have said that we have a crush on Jensaki. I fucked her name up. They made a big deal about learning her name. I am too. Believe me, like if I could Gorilla Glue some shit up here, I would. So, finishing off the night, Jen Sakai weighs in on the question no one asked her. Well, apparently somebody did in like an AMA or something. Does pineapple go on pizza? So let's hear what she has to say. See if she gets it right.
Your thoughts about a very controversial and divisive issue. Drum roll, please. Hi, it's Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary. I'm back again to answer your questions that you sent on Twitter. What is the American Rescue Plan? It's a $1.9 trillion package that does three things. It has funding to get vaccines into the arms of more Americans. 2, it has funding to reopen schools. I'm a mom, I know how important that is. And 3, it gets relief to Americans who need help the most. When will we get another stimulus check?
I don't have any hair on top of my head to do a mohawk. I wish I could.
The pieces of the package through their committees. Once they're done, it will go to the Senate. Once it comes through that process, the president's looking forward to signing it, and we're hopeful that's as soon as possible.
Only a ginger
Major and Champ
can call another ginger.
Major and Champ, this is for you. You're invited anytime to the briefing room. I will have snacks and treats in there right behind the...
I want to go to the briefing room and have snacks and treats.
We'll be getting vaccines. What we're working to do here from the White House and from the administration is get more vaccine supply out to states. So if you're eligible in your state, or if you're over 65 in many states, you should be able to get the vaccine. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take several months to ensure that every American has access to a vaccine. What is President Biden doing for my small business? First and foremost, he nominated a woman to lead the Small Business Administration who formerly worked there.
Nothing like tokenism.
Executive order to make it easier for minority-owned small businesses to get access to the funding that they need. And third is that in the American Rescue Plan, there's currently about $60 billion to help a range of small businesses get access to additional funds. Would like to know your thoughts about a very controversial and divisive issue.
Here we go.
Pineapple on pizza. That is gross. I'm not for that. I'm for green peppers and onions.
Constitutional cancel culture on Jen Psaki. I'm calling constitutional cancel culture on Jen Psaki. Pineapple absolutely goes on pizza. The sweet next to the savory cheese. Mwah. I love the sweet and salty myself. I don't eat at McDonald's, so no, I do not accept donations of McDonald's coin. I don't give her a pass. That's no. You gotta like some pineapple on pizza. I am gonna go over here, fucking A with some Canadian bacon. I like some pineapple with some ham or Canadian bacon and some tomatoes, feta cheese. That's a pizza right there. Hell yeah. All right. That's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to send you over to my new friend, Ravana. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. I need to ask her that. If you're watching on Twitch, so go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol. Live.